Maybe one day?
Maybe one day, just not now.
No. No. But this is what you want?
Yeah, this is my decision. This is what I'm gonna do. Now, this nightmare has to be over for everybody.
No. You have to remember, we're strong.
I know. This is my decision, though.
But don't ever confess to something you didn't do.
I know, but this is my decision, though. This is all me, okay? I was not pressured into anything. This is my decision.
Okay. I've been the service on Sunday. Oh my gosh, it was.
Maximum sentence would be appropriate, and anything less than the maximum sentence would depreciate the seriousness of this offense. So the court is going to sentence Mr. Watts as follows. With regard to count number 1, murder in the first degree as it relates to Shanann Watts, the court is going to sentence you, sir, to a life sentence in the Colorado Department of Corrections, followed, with no possibility of parole. And that is going to run consecutively to all but counts 3 and 4. With regard to count 2, as it relates to murder in the first degree with Bella, the court is going to sentence you to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole. With regard to count number 3, the court is going to sentence you as it relates to Celeste to life in the Colorado Department of Corrections with no possibility of parole.
Get on the floor. Hot dog, hot dog, hot dog. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hot dog. The brand new way, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. The brand new way, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, step on the floor. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Anyway, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Brand new way, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. Hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. It's a brand new way, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Hot dog, diggity dog. It's a brand new way, what you waiting for? Get up, stretch out, get on the floor. What? I'm just trying to...
So it is, I'm home with the family, and they're excited to try the new Pro Bars, and they came in, I think, yesterday. So we have cookies and cream, and we have lemon meringue. Who wants Pro Bars?
Me.
I
do. All right, so do you guys want lemon meringue first, or do you want cookies and cream?
Cookies.
Cookies?
I want that.
You want the lemon meringue? All right, since I have this one open, let's try this one first, okay?
Cookies and cream.
And Daddy's gonna try it too.
Yeah. Are you both?
Yes, so everyone's gonna try Chris Crumb cookies and cream. All right, Bella gets cookies and cream, Cece gets cookies and cream.
Ready?
Ready?
Set.
You're the taste testers.
Yummy.
Is it yummy? What's it taste like?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. What else?
Watermelon.
Watermelon. What's it taste like, Cece?
Chocolate.
Chocolate? Is it delicious? Daddy?
Oreo wrapped with vanilla. It's nice.
Oreo wrapped in vanilla? Is it yummy, Cece? Is that good, Bella? I think they like cookies and cream. Okay, so let's try the lemon meringue. Hey, everybody. So, it's a little crazy over here. Cece loves the cookies and cream.
You like it? Nothing. Good thing.
Don't mind me. It's been a long travel day yesterday. Been cleaning, regrouping today. Hey, Jen. Okay, so Chris, this is the lemon meringue. No, that's Daddy's. Here's yours. Wait, don't take. Wait. Here, Bella. Okay, this one's lemon meringue. It's like the pie, but better because I don't like the pie.
Ready, set, go.
Ready? Hey, Jessica.
That's so good.
How's that taste, Cece?
Good.
Good? Yeah? Do you like that one better?
Me too. I like it.
What's it taste like?
You like lemon meringue pie? Straight out the box.
Bella, what's it taste like?
I don't like it.
You don't like that one? Bella doesn't like that one. That's okay. You like the birthday?
Thank
You for the birds
girls. Thank you for the sweet.
Thank you for the food we eat. Thank you for the birds that sing. Thank you, God, for everything. Amen.
Yeah. Knuckles.
Go, Cece. Go, Bella.
Make a booty.
Go, girls.
Make a booty. I'll hold it.
Blow on it.
Shake your booty.
She wants you to blow on it.
Oh.
Shake your booty, Cece. Go, Cece. What?
You drop it like it's hot. Tell you.
Go, Cece. Tell me you love them.
You're welcome. We love you.
Say love you.
Candy.
Oh yeah, shit, we're. That's it.
I'll do it again. Can I see? Do it to mommy. You're so cute, Bella. What kind of princess are you? Bella, what's your name? Bella.
Yeah.
Bella, what kind of princess are you? Cece, look at your hair.
Good morning, Princess Cece.
What's your name?
Bella.
But what kind of princess are you?
That's me.
What princess are you?
Good morning, Princess. Good morning,
Are you Elena?
Princess.
You're so
And they know. I can't complain about that. Anybody got a fair? Anything else you want to tell me? What's going on, or what happened, or anything? Or you know anything about? When we had that conversation that morning, it was, it was emotional. It was told her about separation and everything like that. What happened after that? I mean, I went downstairs and I don't want to protect her. What? I don't want to protect her. You don't want to protect her? I don't know what else to say. What happened? Huh? She hurt him. She hurt him? Yeah. And then I well, no, I thought not her. You hurt her. Did they leave after that for a long time? So she started hurting the kids. Paper. Well, these guys
The prison moved with the same rhythm it always had. Steel doors opening and closing, quiet footsteps echoing down concrete hallways, guards repeating routines so often they could do them without thinking. Inside that controlled environment, predictability meant stability, and stability meant safety. For years, Chris Watts had reportedly fit into that routine with little disruption. Officers described him as quiet, compliant, and withdrawn, someone who rarely caused problems or drew attention to himself. But according to whispers that slowly began spreading through the facility, that calm routine had recently started to crack. At first, the changes were subtle enough to overlook. One guard reportedly noticed that he had begun pacing more during late-night checks, moving back and forth across the small space of his cell long after lights out. Another claimed he seemed distracted during conversations, taking longer than usual to respond to even basic questions. None of it seemed alarming on its own, but in a prison environment, where behavior patterns are closely watched, small changes rarely go unnoticed for long. Then came the moment that reportedly shifted everything. During a routine interaction, he allegedly muttered a phrase that immediately caught the attention of staff nearby. "I can't live here anymore." According to reports circulating within the facility, the statement wasn't shouted in anger or desperation. It was quieter than that, flat, exhausted, almost as if the words slipped out without intention. But because of who said them, they carried weight. By the end of the week, guards had quietly begun comparing observations. Some believed the pressure of years behind bars was finally beginning to show. Others thought the isolation and constant routine might be affecting him mentally in ways that were becoming harder to hide. Whatever the cause, one thing became clear: something about his behavior no longer matched the version of him the prison staff had grown used to. If you're already pulled into this story, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because what unfolds next takes this situation far beyond a single comment. Because inside prison walls, it's often the smallest moments that signal the beginning of something much bigger. As the days passed, the atmosphere around Chris Watts reportedly began to change in ways that staff found difficult to ignore. What had started as a few isolated observations slowly developed into a noticeable pattern. Guards assigned to the unit claimed that his behavior no longer matched the quiet routine he had maintained for years. The pacing continued at night, sometimes lasting for long stretches without pause, and officers reportedly noticed that he seemed increasingly restless during routine checks. Mealtimes became another point of concern. According to reports circulating among staff, trays that once came back empty were now often returned untouched or barely eaten. One correctional officer allegedly described him as looking physically drained, saying the exhaustion showed not just in his appearance, but in the way he carried himself. Slower movements, delayed responses, and long periods of silence that felt heavier than before. The statement he reportedly made earlier, "I can't live here anymore," continued spreading quietly among guards, taking on greater significance as more unusual moments followed. Some officers believed it reflected emotional exhaustion after years of confinement. Others wondered if deeper fears were beginning to surface, especially in an environment where rumors and tension can spread quickly behind closed doors. During one late-night round, an officer reportedly paused outside his cell after hearing movement inside. Instead of pacing, he was said to be sitting on the edge of the bed, staring toward the floor in complete silence. When the officer asked if everything was okay, the response allegedly came after a long pause: "I'm tired." No explanation followed, just silence again. If you're following how quickly this situation is escalating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because what happens next pushes the tension even further. Because in a prison environment, small behavioral changes can mean everything, and by now, staff were starting to realize this wasn't just a temporary shift. Something deeper seemed to be happening, and no one was entirely sure where it was leading. By the third week, the tension surrounding Chris Watts had reportedly become impossible for prison staff to ignore. What had started as scattered observations was now being discussed more openly among guards assigned to the unit. Officers who once described him as predictable and emotionally controlled were suddenly using very different words: withdrawn, exhausted, unstable. Even routine interactions reportedly carried a different energy, one that made staff pay closer attention every time they approached his cell. According to accounts circulating within the facility, he had become increasingly difficult to read. Some days, he reportedly stayed silent for hours, barely reacting during checks or conversations. Other days, officers claimed he appeared visibly frustrated, pacing the narrow space of the cell while muttering under his breath. One guard allegedly described the behavior as someone trying to hold themselves together while slowly falling apart. Whether that assessment was accurate or not, it reflected the growing concern among those monitoring him daily. The phrase, "I can't live here anymore," reportedly continued resurfacing during conversations, sometimes spoken quietly, other times repeated in moments of visible agitation. No official public statement confirmed what those comments truly meant, but inside the prison, speculation began spreading quickly. Some believed the emotional weight of permanent confinement was finally breaking through the calm image he had maintained for years. Others wondered if fear, paranoia, or isolation had started taking a deeper psychological toll. During one reported interaction, a correctional officer attempted to calm him after noticing visible frustration during a routine exchange. Instead of responding directly, he allegedly repeated the same thought again, saying he was done with living under those conditions. The statement reportedly lingered with the officer long after the shift ended, not because it was dramatic, but because of how defeated it sounded. As the weeks continued, the atmosphere surrounding Chris Watts reportedly grew even more tense inside the facility. By now, guards had become accustomed to monitoring subtle shifts in his behavior, but according to accounts circulating among staff, the changes no longer felt subtle. Officers allegedly noticed sharper mood swings from one day to the next. At times he appeared emotionally detached, barely responding during routine checks. Other times, he reportedly seemed overwhelmed and visibly frustrated, pacing his cell for long periods as though unable to settle his thoughts. The uncertainty surrounding his condition reportedly led supervisors to increase observation without making it obvious. In a prison environment, unpredictability always raises concern, even when no direct threat is involved. Guards claimed that conversations with him had become increasingly difficult, not because he refused to speak, but because his responses often felt disconnected or emotionally drained. One officer reportedly described the interactions as talking to someone who had mentally checked out. Rumors inside the prison allegedly intensified after reports surfaced that he had requested changes related to his housing situation. No official details were ever publicly confirmed, but the possibility alone fueled speculation among inmates and staff alike. Some believed he was struggling under the psychological weight of long-term confinement. Others thought fear and isolation may have begun affecting him in ways that were becoming harder to hide. During one late-night check, a guard reportedly found him sitting alone in silence, staring toward the wall for an extended period. When asked if he needed anything, the response allegedly came slowly: "I just want out of here." Whether those words reflected frustration, hopelessness, or emotional exhaustion remained unclear. But for staff already watching closely, they added to a growing sense that something was unraveling behind the scenes. If this story has you hooked, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because the final chapter brings everything together in a way that leaves even more unanswered questions. Because inside prison walls, not every breaking point comes with chaos. Sometimes it arrives quietly, one small change at a time. In the end, no dramatic public announcement ever fully explained what was happening behind those prison walls. There were no official press conferences, no detailed statements confirming every rumor that had spread through the facility. Instead, the story surrounding Chris Watts remained built largely on reported observations, quiet conversations among staff, and a growing sense that something had changed over time. But for those who followed the situation closely, the idea that he may have reached an emotional breaking point became difficult to ignore. According to accounts that continued circulating inside the prison, the behavior that once seemed temporary never fully returned to normal. The pacing, the exhaustion, the distant responses, all reportedly became part of a new routine that guards quietly monitored day after day. Some officers believed the emotional weight of permanent confinement and finally started breaking through the calm image he maintained for years. Others thought the isolation and endless repetition of prison life had slowly worn him down in ways no one on the outside could truly understand. The phrase, "I can't live here anymore," continued to linger in discussions among staff, not because it led to a dramatic incident, but because of what it seemed to represent. To some, it sounded like frustration. To others, it reflected hopelessness and mental exhaustion after years of living within the same walls, under the same routine, with no possibility of freedom ahead. If you've stayed with this story until the very end, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because stories like this reveal that some of the most unsettling moments happen long after the headlines disappear. Because prison stories are rarely just about punishment. They're also about the psychological reality of living day after day in an environment designed to test human endurance. And in this case, what remains isn't a clear conclusion, but a lingering question about what truly happens to someone over time when the outside world moves on, but their reality never changes.